You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead. Kevin.
I'm 6'5", 250, and trained, so bring that shit on, bitches.
I was listening to Truth on Tap with Kevin A. Kierstead last night. I've never really called into Kevin's show or gotten into any banter to him because, to be honest with you, he's way too intellectual for me. I mean, I'm no dummy, but this guy, I don't think I can hang with him verbally and just, discussing the issues. He's a really smart guy.
That's Wes Johnson. Find him at wesjohnson.com. The greatest on-air personality to ever bless the United States of America.
He does a really good show. It's very professionally done. He's on iHeartRadio.
I can sniff out bullies from a mile away, and I love to go after them. I am not alpha male until an alpha male shows up and tries to start bossing me around. That's when the alpha male comes out in me. I'm an alfalfa male. Once an alpha male gets in my face, I'm an alfalfa male. The cowlick pops up on the back of the head.
Every once in a while, you have to go to war.
The pants rise to become high waters. I got my dukes up.
I'm gonna what do you call it, mute my mic so I don't deafen you or defecate on you. And oh shit, he made a poop noise. And then we're gonna
and I'm ready to rock and roll. Give him a little Jack Johnson, Yeah.
Truth on Tap is now flowing from iHeartRadio. Get your Kierstead fix by Googling Truth on Tap with Kevin A. Kierstead. All the truth you can handle running hot on iHeart, Facebook, Spreaker, and more. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth on Tap.
Jesus Christ on a flying potato cross. If I didn't know better, I'd say it was 9:01 persistent malfeasance Eastern Standard Time, 8/14/15. The truth is going to be poured out in heavy and large doses tonight. Hello, Mr. White. Welcome to the chat. Listen, guys, the way this show's going to go is that it's probably going to scare some people, and they're going to try to attack and distract. So I don't know if I can keep control of my chat room. I cannot promise that. If it gets too bad, I was listening to a show by Louis B. where, I don't know if this is loud enough. Let me check. I think it was Goose that was trolling him, and he just rapid trolled. So I can't keep up with that. Yeah, so I think I'm going to stop the music right now. We don't need that. And if they do that, I got to let go of the troll. Let go of the trolls. Let go of the chat room and let them troll. And you guys in chat aren't going to enjoy that. And I'm sorry about that. But there's not really much you can do for people that have multiple sock accounts. So I'm just going to have to let it run. Thank you for coming, Mr. White. Glad you're here to hear the truth. And many more will come. Got some special guests that will be on the show tonight. And we're going to be running some events. Here from Studio 4, you're going to hear the real story, the whole story, but not quite everything, because if you've ever heard of parental alienation syndrome, then you know that children stand to be hurt when they're hearing bad things about either parent. Now, that takes quite a bit of maturity and respect and a care for your fellow human being to take anything from that message. But some things need to be said because other things are being said. Now, I'll tell you this much. This is the last show I'm ever going to do where I defend myself for anything. If this is not the motherfucking end-all, be-all defense for Kevin A. Kierstead K-Tap to convince you that the truth is exactly what I told you it was, then you're never going to be convinced. And in that case, I give up. Yeah, it's no problem for me. I can only do so much to present evidence and my defense when I come under attack from people who like to attack other people. Just can't leave shit alone. Yeah, I don't know. It's their personality, really. And we're going to talk to an expert psychiatrist tonight who will not only talk about trolls, and I'm not convincing these other hosts of being trolls necessarily. I think sometimes we all behave a little troll-like, but it's the people that do it every day. It's the people that do it every other day. It's the people going out looking to fuck up somebody's day. You know who trolls are. But he's going to define it very specifically. Make no mistake about that. I heard a weird thing lately that I sounded like Kermit the Frog. I mean, you know people are digging in the bottom of the attack barrel when they say K-Tab sounds like Kermit the Frog. Well, what is that? I mean, Kermit the Frog, hell, he's one of my heroes. But I don't sound like him. Let me see if I can do it real quick. Let me see. Hello, Miss... No, that's more... Hey, Miss Piggy, how are you doing? That was more like Barney. I can't do Kermit. I can't do Kermit if I'm trying to. And you think I sound like him naturally? The fuck out of here. Don't make me pull out a Bane on you. Yeah. I'm gonna try to not attack too much tonight. I don't want to do... You know, it's so hard. You want to defend yourself, and ask Andrew. When you're on the defense, you got to go on offense. I mean, it's part of it. One puncher swings, the other one swings back. That's generally the way it goes. Yeah, I don't know. But does that happen with men and women? Oh, yeah, it does. I've got a list up here from the Mayo Clinic that talks exactly about domestic violence against women, what you can recognize in people's personalities to see if they are at risk or possibly guilty of domestic violence. And this is not only going to help you in tonight's cause, which is running a defense against some dickheads that have been talking about me lately, but it's also going to help you, especially women, in future relationships, or possibly in your current one if it's early, to identify the characteristics of the type of person who's going to be an abuser. Now, I've got a couple of surprises for you tonight, and it's not just who's going to be on the show. It's stuff that I sort of figured out. Now, when I think I figured something out, but I can't back it with science, I'm just going to call it a theory. I have a couple of weird theories that they were clicking. They were making sense to me, and it wasn't something I expected. I had a friend do a show last night or the night before where he came out of the woodwork, unprompted, and absolutely destroyed the Vermont court system. I mean, he body slammed it. He did the slingshot suplex. Is that what it was called? He did the one where he did, what was the movie, The Wrestler? Off the top thing, oh no, my chest is going to split. He did that to the Supreme Court. He did it all. And I was thinking, now, would people believe him? Let's see, who do I know on Spreaker that would be our resident expert on law in Vermont? On law in Vermont. Let's see, if I could find somebody that had been there, I don't know, 11 years, that would probably be good. What else could I find? Ooh, what if I could find somebody that wasn't from there originally, but came in from the outside like me? Now we're talking. Now we're getting into somebody who I could consider an authority. But what else? I would need this person to have more than just that. 11 years being an outsider, that's good. But what else would I need him to have? How about if he's already had some interactions with Vermont and their court system? What if he's already been through some of that? Okay, there's my guy. That's the one I want. Well, I've got that guy for you tonight. And that guy's name is Paul Dembski. Yeah, we're going to play it. But before we do, I want to give you a brief, quick rundown of what I've been accused of. There's a Supreme Court document on the internet. You can do a Google search. The Supreme Court in the state of Vermont, like most state Supreme Courts, and many of these hosts don't even know the difference between a federal, the United States Supreme Court, and a state Supreme Court. Much smaller affair. What's the job of a state Supreme Court? It's one job only. That is to hear whether or not the lower court, in this case a family court, not a criminal court, has made a mistake in applying the statutes of family law to a case. That's their only job. They will not hear new evidence. They will only hear your argument and look at the transcripts. And do you know what the record is? Have you ever, any of you people that have been on the attack, there's only a few of them, they've been on the attack lately about the record. What is the record? Do you know what the record is in a family court case? It's he said, she said. There's your record. Now, in this court case, in my family court case, which was the hardest time in my life, where I fought for custody of my young daughter that I was taking care of alone and had sole custody of for a year before the final divorce, in this case, the fighting that went on was pretty vicious. But my attorney insisted that we take the high road, and I trusted her. And in a way, I still think that she was right. What she didn't know is that there's an old boy network at work. What she didn't think about is that I distinctly lack a vagina. Yeah. And what she never considered is that there's no flatlander, aka outsider, that is going to be in a court in Vermont with no friends, because his friends were his family, and his family is who's separating, who's going to walk away with custody of his daughter. It's not going to happen. I didn't know that then. I thought people were fair. I thought courts were the shit. They've got it right, man. Now, some of the people that have read the Supreme Court decision haven't seen the case. How often on this show do I talk about context? You have to know the whole story or you don't know the truth. You can't get to the truth. You can't get to the truth from a sound clip. All right? Sarah Palin saying she can see Russia from her house, or that might have been what the comedian said, but you know what she said. Or Barack Obama saying he had been to 57 cities, or states, he meant cities. You can't just take that clip and define somebody. You got to look at the whole story. Then you get the truth. And it takes time, and it takes critical thinking, and for Christ's sake, I'll tell you guys what. Now, there's a few people that hate me on this network. If I could get just 10 of them to commit to me in writing that they would spend a year studying at criticalthinking.org or a similar website, I'd voluntarily cancel my show. Because that's really my goal. Get people thinking and thinking well. You cannot just ignore the rules of logic and reasoning if you're going to come to ultimate truths. There are subjective truths and there are objective truths. The objective truths have a shitload of evidence going for them. The subjective ones can be more personal. They can be more opinion. They can have circumstantial reasoning and evidence to support them. They're up for debate. JFK. You know, I don't know what to think about the JFK thing. Aaron got me thinking about it. I am not convinced that it was a grand conspiracy, but I am convinced that the government was very sloppy at a minimum in their investigation. But that doesn't tell me anything. I'm not convinced that because there was a sloppy investigation, suddenly there's a grand conspiracy. You have to get me from one point to the other with evidence. Evidence. If you people who've been talking about this Supreme Court decision, which is done by a 3-justice panel with nobody in the fucking courtroom, they do it all on written text, had been in that courtroom and seen the 650 pages of transcripts that I had to go through to do my own Supreme Court case, if you knew how hard it was to even get a Supreme Court case accepted to be heard, you'd think completely differently. Well, I can't share that information because that information hurts my daughter. That information will be given to my daughter on the day that she requests it. That includes the polygraph exams that I and my ex's best friend took. That includes the private investigator written report and videotape that shows some very damaging truths about my ex-wife. But I can't share those because when you talk about a child's parents, either one, you're hurting the kid. They identify half of themselves with each parent. You're hurting the child. And anybody, if I find out that what they've done on Spreaker has hurt my child, they're in danger. And I mean serious physical danger. And you can call your Icelandic authorities, and you can call your Canadian authorities, and you can call the American authorities and say you've been threatened, because you have. So you heard that. But now let's hear this. Paul Dembski, yesterday or the day before.
And I'm going to touch a subject that I probably shouldn't. I probably should stay out of it, but I got the talkative mode going on, and I'm sure a lot of you, most of you, whatever, have listened to Kevin Kierstead's show, Truth on Tap. I've listened to it. I'm not going to lie and tell Kevin I listen to every show because I don't. I've probably, to be honest,